Hello, everyone. I hope you are well on this Sunday morning. It is December the 22nd. Christmas Day is around the corner. I'm going to cover some big things here this morning. I also have a verse towards the end of the day. I'm going to go ahead and give you the rundown here on my little board. All right. So, was it all a big PSYOP? I'll go into that. I think it's very interesting. You probably know what I'm talking about. I'll get there, though. Drones, what happened to all the drones? The drone talk just kind of fell off the radar here recently. What's going on? Where'd they go? It's like it all just kind of went away. Most all. You still hear a little trickle here and there. All right. Let's remember this. Let's remember peace, especially nowadays in this holiday season, okay? And let's see, what else we got? We got some other updates. We've got the Panama Canal in the news, which is interesting. And then there was some breaking news about a U.S. warplane that was shot down over the Red Sea. I'll go into that and give you my opinion on that one. Also, last but not least, I have a verse of the day. So stay tuned for that one. It's a good one. Kind of ties into some of this stuff, okay? I think you'll get something out of it, I hope. But first, we are just a few days from Christmas Day. Let us know your plans. Staying at home, traveling, got people coming to you. What you doing? If you want to share, of course, it's up to you. I know here we have some family coming to us, so we're pretty much staying close to home here. If we do go out, it's not going to be very far. That's our plan. One thing Ms. Dawg and I have been talking about, and I don't know, you could almost call it lamenting, is that, and as we get older, and I think age may be part of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just current times. I'm not sure, but your circle of friends, even family, it really gets smaller. It really does get very small. And we've been talking about that. And I don't know, we have mixed feelings about it. Share what you think about that. Are you experiencing the same thing? What are you doing about it? Do you like that? Do you just prefer that? It's interesting because Mrs. Dawg is really, I would say she's more of an introvert than I am. And sometimes she's the one that has to kind of push to let's go out a little bit. Let's get out of the house, off the property a little bit and see something else for a minute, to where I'm, once I'm out there, I'm more outgoing socially than Mrs. Dawg is. However, it's getting me out is a challenge sometimes, because without that little push, sometimes I don't know. I probably would not leave the property very much at all. Not much at all. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. Share your thoughts on that one. I think it's interesting. Some updates real quick. Like I mentioned in the top there, some things I've noticed in the news. Trump said that he is thinking about demanding that the Panama Canal be returned under the United States ownership, saying that it was wrongly given away by the Jimmy Carter administration. Now, we can debate that. I haven't done a big deep dive on that, on the Panama Canal. I know it's a crucial route as far as trade and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that's interesting that he's putting that out there right before he takes office. It shows he's already thinking. He's got plans, and I know people talk about him and already blaming him for stuff. The man is not perfect. He's got a lot of flaws too. He's human, and he's going to do some things that we don't like too. I would never. I support him, but I don't agree with everything either that he does or says. However, given the choice we had, it's a no-brainer that I voted for him. And I am optimistic. I do believe he can turn some things around. I think we need to give him time. after the last 4 years of what we have seen and felt, endured, witnessed, we need to give the man some time. And let's do that, because it's not going to turn around quickly. It may take a while. It may take a longer time than you are thinking. So I just ask you to keep that in mind. I know I'm going to try to keep that in mind for sure. So, but I think he can definitely make some differences. He's going to need some help. He's just one man, and pray that for his protection too. That's another issue as well. So, a United States fighter jet, military warplane was shot down over the Red Sea not long ago here, I guess in the last hours or so. And they're saying that it's friendly fire. Now, friendly fire meaning that one of our forces shot it down and thought it was an enemy fighter plane or something like that, which I don't know if I buy that personally. Now, these fighter jets were carrying out missions. They're hitting Houthi in Yemen, the Houthi rebels in Yemen. They're hitting them pretty hard with strategic airstrikes because they've been taking shots at the United States Navy and also Israel. So the U.S. military stepped up attacks on the Houthis. Personally, I don't see why. If we're going to have a presence over there, why are we allowing the Houthis to take shots at the Navy and tolerate that? Take them out, man. Take out their capability to do that. Are we not capable of doing that? Anyway, but this jet was shot down. Now, there were no fatalities from what I've read. There were no deaths that they perished. They were able to bail out, and there were some injuries, but they survived. So, personally, I'm not so sure that was friendly fire. I have a feeling that was probably enemy fire. Yeah. And I think that as this continues, I'm surprised we haven't had more of it. We probably have, and you don't hear about it. I think there's going to come a day when we have a dang ship sunk out there. The ship will sink. I think they're going to do something like that. And it might not be the Houthis. It might be somebody else that does it. I really think that's going to happen, and don't be too shocked when it does. So that's my thought on that. Was it all a big psyop? What happened to all the drones? What happened to all the drone talk? Have they just disappeared? Haven't really heard. It's kind of harder to find information on it. Even the videos of individuals that are videotaping it, I still see some, roll around out there in social media, but not nearly on the level that it was over the last couple of weeks. And even more noticeable is how the main media, even the smaller media, has just stopped talking about it, which is very curious to me, which makes me think PSYOP. Now I'm going to read the definition of a PSYOP, psychological operations, in other words. PSYOP is an acronym for psychological operations, which is a military and or political activity that aims to influence the behavior of individuals, organizations, and governments. PSYOPs use a variety of tactics, including communication skills, cultural sensitivity, foreign language proficiency, military deception. Sounds familiar, huh? Kind of makes you think a little bit. It's interesting. There's been so many theories to explain why these drones / unidentified aerial aircraft have been running around out there. I tend to, the two that make somewhat of a sense to me is that, one, they were sniffing for something nuclear or radioactive. There have been reports of higher than normal radiation levels in New Jersey and New York, way above the normal acceptable type, non-threatening levels of radioactive radiation. So that theory kind of makes some sense, somewhat. Also, the other one is that it was a foreign adversary like China, Russia. That's possible. The other theory is that it was ours or some black ops program from the United States, and they're just doing a lot of testing, a PSYOP to what was it? Was it something that they're just trying to test the waters, see how we react, see how the public reacts? It's like an experiment, like we're the test dummies, we're the rats in the cage. I believe the thing that happened a few years ago, that was definitely. I think that was a run. That was a test run. That was an experiment. But it's interesting how I'm always a little suspicious, especially when a story like this just jumps out all of a sudden and very quickly takes over every other news. Because typically real news is also reported along with other news, if that makes sense. Whereas a PSYOP is typically something to where it just totally dominates. It comes out of nowhere. It's kind of mysterious, not easily explained, and it just dominates the news cycle 24/7 for a period of time. And it uses fear, and the media outlets, it's like they're all in lockstep. It's like they're using the same language, the same phrases, the timing, and everything. That's a huge red flag to me. And it should be to most people. And then all of a sudden, the coverage just drops without any further update. Big red flag there as well. It's like it's just gone. No follow-up. Those are, is it a big distraction from something else that was going on? That makes you think that as well. What else? What was it distracting from? I surely don't know. It could be a number of things. Something political, something else going on. They just want to take our eyes off of and make sure we don't focus on it. It could be using fear. It could be something. This occurred to me that it could be getting us desensitized or used to being surveilled in another way. If you think about it, the surveillance that goes on in our daily lives, one step here and there, you don't notice it so much, right? Like think about how many security cameras are out there, even in small towns and rural areas or medium-sized towns. Huge number of it. So we don't realize how often, even in homes or in your neighborhood, right? I mean, think about it. We don't realize as we step out of our house how often we are on camera somewhere. Think about it, right? It's really weird if you think about it. And even when you go out in public, especially. So that's one way. And then listening, your cell phone, your smart TV, your Alexas, your robots, all that stuff, man. I mean, it's almost the way you think about something. You don't even have to verbalize it. You think about it, and then you see an advertisement for it on your social media. Boom, hitting you right in the face. Has that happened before? It's kind of creepy. It's pretty creepy, y'all. And now it's aerial. Now it's above us. Maybe it's another way to watch us and surveil us and mapping and just, what are they planning? It could be just another way to keep an eye on the folks, and another way of control. Who stands to benefit from it? Who owns the platform? Who's funding it? This had to be funded. This had to be very coordinated, heavily planned, and it wasn't cheap. No. So that's another thought of mine, is that they're just kind of getting us used to being watched in another way. What kind of intelligence can you get from the sky like that? It makes you wonder, what kind of data are they collecting and how much of it? Where's it going? How are they going to use it? Well, pretty creepy, huh? And so another way of control, another way to influence behavior or thinking, that can lead to something else, maybe new laws. Maybe it's going to regulate the everyday Joe's ability to have his own little drone up there. Yeah, it could be. There's a lot of different ways about it. Now, I can't help but think that it does remind me a bit of the Chinese spy balloon too. Remember the Chinese spy balloons traversing the whole dang nation back, was that a couple of years ago or so? And nothing was done about it. Nothing was going to be done about it until it got out in the public. And they did finally shoot it down after it dang ran all over the country, all over sensitive sites, military sites. So that's, I mean, I don't think that's a possibility. Because it was over a lot of, these drones were over a lot of military sites and a lot of sensitive facilities, including the White House, Pentagon, all these military bases, weapons arsenals, So it does make you think maybe they're testing the reaction, or testing, it's a big testing run, So let me know your thoughts on that. It's very interesting, but I think we need to keep our emotions in check on something like that. I mean, what can we do about it? What can you control? Are they setting us up for some big reveal, some big show that's coming? We're heading into a new year. We're heading into some changes. 2025, a new administration coming in. And, what are they planning? Who stands to gain? What's the goal? A lot of questions. There's a lot of questions over that. So let me know your thoughts. Something to think about. I'm going to go to a passage. I'll go to a verse, and it is from 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, and we are in chapter 15, verse 33 and 34. Says, especially 33, do not be misled. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Come back to your senses as you ought, and stop sinning, for there are some who are ignorant of God. I say this to your shame. So, do not be misled. The big one there I wanted to highlight too. It says many times it talks many times in the Bible about do not be misled, be not deceived, but be not in fear and trust Him. I think that's the big thing we need to keep in mind. Stay close to Jesus, because ultimately, God's still in control. No matter what nefarious activity is taking place, He's still in control. He is sovereign too. He is still sovereign. Always will be. But like I said, let's stay close to Jesus. Let's stay in prayer. Share your thoughts. Let's be safe. Be careful out there running around. God bless y'all. I will see you soon.